Everyone has that one place in their home where they feel the safest. For me, it's my bedroom. That changed the night I realized something was living underneath my bed. Not a monster, but something much worse. It's funny how quickly a place you once felt safe in can become the most terrifying. I've always been the type of person who loves the quiet comfort of my own room, especially after long, exhausting days. My bedroom had this sense of warmth, familiarity, a place where the world's troubles couldn't reach me. But that changed 2 weeks ago. It started small. A few odd things that didn't make sense. The first thing I noticed was a strange odor coming from underneath my bed. It was faint, almost metallic, but persistent. I thought maybe I'd spilled something, so I cleaned the entire area, vacuumed, and sprayed air freshener, but the smell never really went away. Then, it was the noises. I often fall asleep to the sound of rain or some kind of ambient noise, but this was different. It was subtle at first, like a faint scratching sound, but it wasn't coming from the walls or outside the house. It was coming from directly under my bed. I laughed it off. Childhood fears, right? The monster under the bed? I was an adult, and adults don't have monsters under their beds, or so I thought. One night, after another long day, I was exhausted. I collapsed into bed, hoping for sleep to take me away. I was on the verge of drifting off when I heard it clearer this time, the unmistakable sound of something moving under my bed. Not scratching, moving. I froze. My heart pounded in my chest as I lay perfectly still, my eyes wide open. My rational mind tried to convince me it was nothing. Maybe it was the old wooden frame creaking, or a mouse scurrying underneath. But the sound continued, soft, deliberate movements. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and in one motion, leaned over the edge of the bed and shone the light underneath. Nothing, just dust and shadows. I let out a shaky breath, laughed at myself for being so paranoid, and rolled back onto my bed. But as soon as I closed my eyes, I felt something. A subtle, almost imperceptible shift in the mattress. Like someone or something was underneath, pushing up ever so slightly. I shot up, breathing hard, and stood beside my bed. My hands trembled as I threw off the covers and crouched down to inspect again. My flashlight flickered slightly, casting eerie shadows on the floor. I checked under the bed again, slowly this time. At first, it seemed empty, like before, but then my eyes adjusted to the dim light, and I noticed something. There, toward the far end of the bed, barely visible under the shadows, was a hole. Small, just big enough to fit a fist through. It hadn't been there before. My pulse quickened. What was that? I reached for my phone again and used the camera zoom feature to get a closer look at the hole. Something moved. I jumped back, nearly dropping my phone. But I couldn't stop myself. I had to know what was going on. I grabbed a hanger from the closet, crouched down again, and extended it toward the hole. I pushed it through. The moment the hanger touched the other side, I felt resistance. Something grabbed it and pulled. I scrambled to my feet, heart pounding, my mind racing. Whatever was down there was not supposed to be there. Was it an animal? No, animals don't pull back. I couldn't sleep after that. I stayed up the entire night, sitting in the corner of my room, staring at the bed, clutching a baseball bat. My phone buzzed with texts from friends asking why I wasn't at the party that night, but I couldn't focus. I was too terrified to leave my room and too scared to stay in it. The next morning, I called a pest control company, thinking maybe it was some kind of infestation. They arrived, checked the house, and finally examined my room. They were under my bed for barely a minute, when one of the workers got up and said, "There's nothing here. Just some old wiring beneath the floor. No animals, no nests. Just the usual stuff in older houses." I knew he was wrong. I felt it. I heard it. I tried ignoring it for a few days, sleeping on the couch downstairs, but every time I passed by my bedroom, the door would be slightly open, like it was beckoning me to come back. The smell was worse, the scratching louder. Finally, I had to know. I grabbed a crowbar and flashlight, determined to open up the floor and see what was down there. I pried at the edges of the hole, and to my horror, the wood came up easily. Underneath was a tunnel. A dark, narrow tunnel that seemed to lead deeper into the house, possibly under the entire neighborhood. But that's not what terrified me the most. In the middle of the tunnel, covered in dust and dirt, was a small mattress. A mattress. I stood there, frozen, staring at it. Then, from the darkness, I heard it again. Not the scratching, not the moving, but a voice.
I've been waiting.
I don't know what's under my house. I don't know who or what was waiting for me, but I've moved. I've sealed up the room, and I've never looked back. All I can say is this: if you hear something strange from under your bed, don't investigate. Some things are better left buried.